This is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. This is the paid request. This time for Brian. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of reviews or rankings or lists or topics or randomness or out of blueness, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the film called Cats Don't Dance, which I had heard of. I had never seen. I guess maybe has a little bit of a cult following. And I didn't mind the film. I didn't mind the film because it's doing a page of old school Hollywood. It takes place around, I forget the time period. I forget if it was the 1940s or I think 1930s. Yeah, I think it's around 1939. And sorry for that thing. It was like a hairball. Speaking of hairballs, our lead is a cat, voiced by Scott Bakula. I didn't realize Scott Bakula was in this, but I'm a big fan of Quantum Leap. Rest in peace, Mr. Dean Stockwell. He recently passed away. Really enjoyed him in Quantum Leap, him and Scott Bakula. One of my favorite shows. And I was always sad that we never got a good ending. Because they had that shitty, he never came back home. I always thought that was stupid. Really hurt the show for me. That's why I don't rewatch a lot. But I still do like the show. But rest in peace, Dean Stockwell. But Scott Bakula, who I also enjoyed in Lord of Illusions, among other films, he was the voice in this as this cat who has a dream to make it big in Hollywood. So he's in a small town. He goes to Hollywood. And the time period, there's a little bit of references. Like there's a visual Laurel and Hardy reference. At times, there's this old school dancing, which I guess Gene Kelly was uncredited as a choreography consultant for the dance scenes before he passed away in 1996. And then this came out in 97. And when this came out, it didn't do anything. Like nothing at the box office. But I mean, there's other references. There's Teen Kong walking by, but he's talking to like Joe Besser from the Three Stooges. Oh, don't get me started. But I kind of wish it embellished even more in this world because I think one of the issues of the film, the big issue, is the running time. Now, normally, to me, a film is too long. The film is too short. This movie, if you take out the end credits, is only an hour and 5 minutes long. It's only an hour and 5 minutes. So that means there's not a lot of character depth, emotion, development. A lot of characters just brought up and then really nothing is done with them. And it's like, wow, all this time, like, all this work into a product and you only have an hour and 5 minutes worth of material. It's, if I want a movie with animation that deals with old school Hollywood, I would rather watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I think that did that a lot better, incorporating the old school Hollywood, like you had Dumbo and the time period, mixed in with all these characters. This film needed a certain page. Not that it needed live action, but that type of being able to get to know a little bit more of the world that this is set in. Where it's all a cartoon, animals do talk, but they just get the extra parts in pictures, while the humans get more of the focus. And there's cute stuff, like again the appearance of Teen Kong walking by, but again he sounds like Joe Besser from the Three Stooges. There's an MGM type of logo, but this is for Mammoth Pictures, so it's an elephant having to put on horns, fake tusk, and do the roar like the MGM lion did in his thing for the studio. What do you call it? I know the logo. Your villain is this little girl that's kind of a take on Shirley Temple. Her name is Darla Dimple. She's a princess and rich, and she's a child star and cheery exterior, but she's really a mean, evil little bitch. While Scott Bakula's character is happy and he's expecting the Hollywood dream, he gets a part, but it's only to say meow. He embellishes, but he gets threatened by Darla Dimple's big old butler to not do that shit anymore. You have this one other female cat that's like, they don't care, don't you get it? You're an animal. And again, they introduce these side characters, but not a lot is done with them. Like, they introduced the studio's mascot, Wooly the Mammoth, who's really an elephant, and it's voiced by John Rhys Davies, Sallah from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Oh, cool, John Rhys Davies. Other than that one scene where he talks to Scott Bakula's character, he doesn't really have much to do. Other characters, you have this turtle voiced by Don Knotts. You have this goat voiced by Hal Holbrook from John Carpenter's The Fog, and this underrated film called Rituals. And they're trying to do so much in so little time. You're trying to have a little bit of love story between Scott Bakula and this other cat. You're trying to have Scott Bakula try and get the group together, like, hey, we can have this, look, we're dancing, we're having fun, we can do something around here. You got Darla Dimple forming a plan to fuck over our lead character. This big and grandiose persona for this little girl. You have the animals try to do one show, but then Darla floods the place, so then they all get fired. And then, oh shucks, I guess Hollywood ain't for me. Then he goes on a bus, then he immediately gets off, then he forms a plan, and then you have this big show after the Darla Dimple's film premiere. You have this big show with the animals doing this big song and dance number. Nothing's gonna stop us now. It was not a bad song. But again, you're trying to do so much in such a short running time that it kind of falters where it doesn't leave a big impression. It was cute. It was cute to watch. Again, having it take place in the 1930s Hollywood scene was a nice background. Offers some cute touches like I mentioned before. It's always nice to recognize voices like Scott Bakula and John Rhys Davies and Don Knotts. But yeah, a lot of the side characters, they don't get much to do or much to be showcased. Much development. It's like you try and do too much in too short of a running time. Even Scott Bakula's character-wise, there's not a whole lot to him. Other than this idealistic dream of making it big. And even in the big song and dance, it seemed like more of a showcase for the girl, the female cat, than him. Like, it seemed like more of a showcase of what she could do than what he can do, and he's supposed to be our lead. And it seems like the thing people remember the most is Darla Dimple, the villain, just for her exuberance. Like, there's a bit where she's talking about the plan she's going to deliver, and the animation really goes to town in her imagination, and her imagining the two lead characters going down the drain, and her plan fucking them up every way they run, like her imagination of what she's going to do to them. That seems like one of the big animation showcases. And she feels like she gets more of a screen time than a lot of the side characters. Which I guess makes sense because she's supposed to be the villain, but... And, you know, there's not a lot of movies, even animated films, where the little girl is the main villain. I mean, that's not typical. There have been, but I'm just saying it's not typical. And you could say she's the one that has, in a way, the most personality. Like, even a little bit when she's talking to the lead and she's trying to be nice, but she keeps biting into these animal crackers. Like she's being nice, and she's biting the heads off these animal crackers as she's trying to be, nice. So yeah, it was cute. It's only pretty much an hour long. The animation was fine for the time. The music, I don't mind the song, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now, but they're not songs I would listen to. The rest of the songs I was kind of indifferent on. It's not like songs from The Lion King or Aladdin that you're gonna remember and want to listen to later, at least not to me. Yeah, I didn't really have issues with the animation. It's just, if you took the time and care, you really could have maybe made something like they did with Zootopia. Because Zootopia was fun, but it delved into issues of, I don't want to say agendas, but certain issues, but to me, they did it in a better written way than some of the live action films of nowadays. Here, the fact of, well, animals are kind of low on the totem pole and they don't get the respect they could and should deserve. And how many in the past had their prime taken away because they were not able to get the chance and opportunity. There's some validity and story you could gather from that, and this movie didn't tap into that. And again, even just for fun factor, like the side character, like Don Knotts as his turtle, you could have gotten some more out of that character, or again, Hal Holbrook's his goat character, or even the John Rhys Davies is the elephant. Like he was a studio mascot. I mean, his big scene is really just to be the exposition to Scott Bakula about how this place is like. Other than that, there's not a whole lot to it. And that's the thing, when your movie's only an hour long, and that goes into the opening credits, and the ending, where the ending is, I think that even includes with showing all these fake posters to the movies they did afterward, because that goes on for like a minute or so. So it's not a lot of running time, and it seemed like there's a lot more you could have gotten out of this. Like, I would say it's almost a missed opportunity. There's a lot more you could churn out of this recipe, and they really didn't. So, to me, meh. It was a meh movie. Again, I think there's a lot more you could have done with it, with, like I said, the background they had, the idea I don't mind, trying to get up into the echelon of Hollywood and movies. I think that's a prime candidate for a lot of cool stuff you could implement, but it didn't. Kind of a wasted opportunity, which is sad. I don't know how they only got like an hour of material out of that. I don't understand that. You tell me there's no way you could develop the side characters, there's no way you could develop the story, no way you could develop even more enriching the landscape of old school 1930s Hollywood? You only had enough for an hour? Sorry, an hour and 5 minutes. That seems perplexing to me. That seems a bit confusing to me. Maybe that's just me. So I didn't hate the film. Like I said, the voice cast and the animation, it was short. At least it was short. So it wasn't boring. Just seemed like a lot of missed opportunities. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.